Hello young and old, welcome to Bestaround. Today we're going to be looking at the game Actraiser. The game was released on the 16th of December 1990, the following November in the US, and not until 1993 in PAL regions. I had no background with the game, had never played it, nor even seen someone play it. I had heard about it having two quite different game modes, so I was intrigued to see how it would turn out. The game starts in a fairly simple way. You're in a forest, you have one attack, a sword swipe, and you can kill essentially anything that moves, which isn't much. You are by no means swarmed by enemies at any point. A couple minutes later, there's a boss to encounter who is pretty straightforward, though he did take near half of my life in an instant. This brings me to a real strength of the game, the journey to having your character improve. Your health and power increase enormously throughout the game, and it's always good to see the growth in your own abilities also. There is a second act to the first level, and it is similarly very straightforward, but the boss is a bit trickier, not in terms of taking your health, but in knocking you off the edge. Upon completing the first act of a town or area, you get to the town building sim aspect of the game. I would say with modern eyes that it's pretty limited, but I still really enjoyed the simplicity of improving the town, helping the locals, and shooting the enemies. It's pretty user friendly also, and thus shouldn't be difficult for most people to quickly get the hang of it. The level design is not particularly memorable, and some levels only took me 3 or 4 minutes to get through to the boss, even on the first attempt. It did also make me feel like the platforming was a bit of a chore in between the town building, which to me was the better part of the game. Perhaps a better choice would have been less levels, but have them be better or harder. The bosses were certainly quite interesting also. Some I died to a dozen times, and some took less than 20 seconds from first seeing them to handily dispatching them. Hit detection is not always great, though it is nice that your one main attack can hit enemies slightly behind you. In terms of replayability, I'm not sure this game has too much, but there is a cheat code for professional mode, which does make things significantly harder, though it does eliminate the sim mode, which was actually my more preferred mode. Given how limited the character's movements are, it may well have dictated what was really possible in the game. But for what the main character was capable of, the creativity of the bosses was a strength, and it was always a bit of a thrill as soon as the boss music started playing. Which leads to by far the most memorable aspect of the game, the final gauntlet. Many of the previously defeated foes now need to be defeated back to back before you face your final opponent. This was extremely well done. The screen between battles was iconic, and this was the true test that much of the game had been missing. This is where there was an element of you have to show mastery to be able to complete this game, whilst getting up to that stage was quite straightforward as long as you were able to increase your health from making your towns prosperous. As a result of going against these bosses multiple times, you are forced to optimize your fighting style. Some bosses can be beaten berserker style, some absolutely cannot. Also, to me, the hardest part of the game is the final battle, as it should be. The game took me about 7.5 hours to complete, with a fairly even split between the two game modes, and the gauntlet and final boss took about 2 hours of trying before finally succeeding. So overall, this was a pretty good game. It was uncomplicated, both with the platforming and the sim building, and if anything, perhaps tried to do a little too much, but for its time, it's undoubtedly a really good effort. The music was a highlight, as were the visuals, especially in the boss battles. I'd give the game a 7 out of 10 for enjoyability, and for difficulty, I'd give 2 scores, although I don't want to make a habit of this. For finishing all levels, I'd give it a 5 out of 10, as it's pretty basic generally. The gauntlet of bosses, including the final one though, I'd give that an 8 out of 10 for difficulty. It's by no means impossible, but you need to be really good to even get up to the final battle. When it comes to the question of whether Actraiser is a top 10 SNES game or not, definitely not. It may be one of the top 10 most unique games on the system, and it's worth a playthrough, but I wouldn't consider this a realistic option for top 10. Stay tuned for the next game chronologically in the series, and I'll see you all next time.